Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing the Genesis G80E. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Murdoch Genesis here in Linden, Utah for giving me some time with this G80E. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check what they have currently. If you have any questions, just ask for Mary. And then on a side note, if you're going to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So this has an 87.2 kilowatt hour battery pack that gives it 282 miles of electric driving range. Now I've got a dual electric motor setup that puts out 365 horsepower and then 516 pound-feet of torque. Now before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see how it's raised there on either side, and then you've got the Genesis logo here in the center. And then popping down below, we've got the G80's signature headlight design, but then notice with the grille, it looks the same for the most part, but it's closed off for aerodynamic efficiency. And so putting it all together, even though this is fully electric, you still have that same beautiful styling the G80 is known for. Now on the side here, our tire wheel setup is 245/45/19 in the front and then 275/40/19 in the rear. And you guys can see with the wheels, we've got the silver mixed with the metallic gray here. And then I like how you got the little turn signal indicators there on the side. But all the body lines and everything is all is the same for the G80. You guys can see the chrome trim there. Same thing around the windows. And then here is your full side view with the G80 electrified. Now taking a look at the key fob, you guys can see we've got our lock and unlock function. We have the opening here for the trunk. You've got your remote start function as well, and that's to turn on the lights, and then the Genesis logo on the back. Now popping inside with the G80, you guys can see it's got quite a bit of storage space. It looks like the whole battery pack situation does take up a little bit of the storage space, so that's the one downside with this particular setup. Anyways, when you're all done, just press that button and that will lower the trunk lid right back down. Pretty cool taillight design here, and you can see the rest of the badges and then parking sensors here at the bottom. And putting it all together, what do you guys think about the overall design here with the G80? Now taking a look at the door panel, soft touch here at the top, and then look at the wood trim down below, and then more soft touch trim. Got a little window control here, door lock and unlock, and then look at the speakers here for the sound system. Now in the back, you guys can see legroom's great. We have a little storage pocket there, and we got some vents, and you can see more storage right there. We can also adjust that seat, which is cool. And then these seats in the back are really nice, perforated all down the center portion. And then we've got this whole setup here, kind of fancy with the cup holders and the storage space there. Nice padding on the top here with it. And then when it comes to headroom, I'm almost touching the top, but I got a little bit of room. Now taking a look at the front door panel, we've got soft touch here at the top, and look at the wood trim down below, and then more soft touch here. All of our window controls, nice finish on them. Mirror adjustments, the mirrors do power fold in. We also have blind spot monitoring with the mirrors, and then look at this for the sound system. And then taking a look at the front seat again, perforated all down the center portion. Power adjustments on the side. We also have the massage seat function, and then you have this for the trunk, your parking, brake, stability control, and then nice trim all over the dash. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, you guys can see soft touch all around. We've got pedals here in the back for the regen system. We got a bunch of practical controls in the front, including controls for your adaptive cruise control, your lane keep assist, volume controls, voice command controls, all of that. And then we have our regular stocks here on the back as well. And then you can see this is the normal G80 gauge cluster for the most part, but notice instead it shows you how much battery charge you have. For example, it also shows you if you're using power, if you're charging, all of that. So just a little bit different from the gas version. And then we do still have drive modes, just like the gas version, which kind of have cool animations. And then in reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel and resolution with its solid. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, response time with the screen is great. Overall, it's easy to use. You have an EV tab for this, which lets you know the range and everything if you have the climate controls on versus off. So it's always nice when automakers do that, so then you can kind of know how much more you can get out of a charge. Kind of mentioned this earlier, but nice soft touch trim all over the dash, and then you can see the design across the vents, and then look at the wood trim here. And then you got your dual zone climate controls, heated and ventilated seats with this, wireless phone charging pad inside, got some USBs, all that. And then a really nice finish with the wood trim. It's all throughout. I think that's nice. Cup holders as well. This is all the controls for the gauge cluster there, or not the gauge cluster, sorry, the infotainment system. Brain fart for a second. If you don't want to use a touchscreen, basically. And then you can see the shifter here, drive mode select camera button, and then you get that for the parking sensors. And then pretty good storage in the center console, 12 volt there. Nice trim here on the top. And I like the little tab on the glove box. And then last but not least, this particular one doesn't have a sunroof. Now here's a look at the window sticker. You guys can see 2024 electrified G80. And here's all the standard equipment. And then total MSRP $76,275. And let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility of the hood, both the mirrors. Let's look at the rest of the rear. And let us set off in the G80 electrified. I actually think this is a really solid electric car. When you look at the specs, right? Battery pack is reasonably sized, so that means that charge times are going to be pretty reasonable on this. It's got good range. I mean, almost 300 miles for a bigger car. That's really impressive. And then it has solid power outputs. So from like a spec perspective with an electric car, it's actually really impressive, which you wouldn't expect because this is an ICE car that's been converted to be electric. So it's, I don't know, I think it's impressive what Genesis has done here. Yeah, I can go super aggressive on the regen, which I always do. But I do want to kind of talk about the whole Genesis electric situation because I think it's going to change quite a bit in the near future. So yeah, we'll kind of talk about that in this review. But first off, smooth, very smooth. Yeah, I like how they've tuned the regen. I think they've done a good job with that. But I mean, it's comfortable, just like the G80 it's a nice luxury car, and this definitely drives like a nice luxury car. So that's a big plus. Put it into the sport mode to get a little bit more aggressive. Range will obviously go down in sport mode because using up more electrons. So once we get past this little thing and then get up the hill, we'll get our acceleration. It's probably gonna be pretty quick. Probably gonna be pretty quick, right? Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty quick. That is pretty quick. Wow. It's impressive. I'm not pressing the brake at all, by the way. That was all regen system. So, I mean, in terms of like this G80 compared to the gas G80, I think it drives just as good, as, if not better. I mean, again, you lose a little bit of cargo space in the trunk, which is, yeah, a little bit sad, but price you pay sometimes. But yeah, I really do like, I love how this drives. I think that luxury cars, the electric thing actually makes quite a bit of sense because it, you know, it provides a kind of smoother driving experience with the powertrain and the instant horsepower and torque. I don't know, it works like with the big luxury car, you know, instead of having to wait for like, you know, the turbos to spool up and everything, like it's just boom, rocket ship. I don't know. I think it fits the character pretty well. Like when you need to accelerate versus like when you're just kind of driving, you can be really smooth. So drives fantastic. However, the one thing with electric cars, and this is all electric cars again, is the charging infrastructure, right? That's still a struggle. And then the thing that a lot of people have commented recently is reliability with electric cars, right, long term. And then also resale value has been abysmal with all electric cars, Tesla included. I mean, it's crazy, like, you know, what these electric cars will sell for on the used market. Even, you know, like the depreciation on them is much higher than standard ICE cars. And I think that's because people don't trust the long-term reliability, but also the rate of improvement with electric cars has been a lot quicker than ICE cars, right? Because it's kind of a new thing on the market. So it's like electric cars become outdated faster. So that's also kind of playing into the resale value side of things. But I did a poll on my channel. I asked people what powertrain they were most interested in. I might be off on these numbers, but pretty dang close. About 17% said diesel, 17%. 53% said gas only, 53%. 17% said traditional hybrid, so HEV. 7% said plug-in hybrid. 7% said electric. If you look at the sales figures in the US market, That's not a perfect mirror of what sales are, but it's actually pretty dang close. Like electric cars, the market share is 7%. So the electric market, it looks like it's pretty much capped out. And what I mean by that is everyone that wants to buy an electric car already has one. And future interest isn't there. Like, you know, I can understand if it was like the market share is 7% and, you know, 15% of people are interested in an electric car the next purchase. And that there was actually, it was almost 20% during the pandemic. Like a lot of people were interested in electric cars during the pandemic, but now it's like it's died. So I think it'll be interesting to see what Genesis does moving forward, because Genesis was like 2025 we're all electric. I don't think that's going to be, you know, I haven't looked at official statements, but I wouldn't be surprised if they pull back on that and if they start releasing new ICE powertrains and everything, hybrid, who knows. But I mean, again, if you look at the US market and my survey, they mirror pretty close. And so it's like, if you're an automaker and you want to improve your sales like what Genesis wants to do, like every other automaker, then it looks like you still got to build gas cars because over half the population still wants gas. And then the next best thing is either diesel or hybrid, and diesel doesn't really make sense for a lot of luxury cars, I don't think, unless you're like a luxury off-road brand. But then your other thing is hybrids, 17%. So if you want, yeah. Let me know what you guys think about the G80E, and let me know what you guys think about that whole electric situation.